The stars bright, 'cause a smile can
Come on, Sarah.
light up the sky. Sometimes it's Friday.
Hey, welcome to the Floor U podcast. I am Paul Pleshek, Executive Director of the National Association of Floor Covering Technicians.
And that
Joined
feels
as
good.
always,
Yeah.
joined as always by Mr. Sonny Callahan,
Hello, hello.
Chairman of the Board of the National Association of Floor Covering Technicians,
Proud to be that. Thank you.
and Sarah Fike,
Hello.
also on the board of the National Association of Floor Covering Technicians, Executive Committee Secretary, Director of Marketing, savior for people that don't seem to know how to put together a decent press release or website or anything like that. Sarah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on, Sarah.
Glad to be here.
Sonny made a reference to the quality of your work here just before we got on, but I won't repeat it.
Probably
I think our guest would agree with that, but, you know, it's in bad taste.
It's in bad taste.
with good intentions.
Yes, absolutely. Sarah, Sonny and I started out with the NAFCT, with the National Academy of Floor Covering Training. When
That's how we met. Now we got things going.
When we decided to turn it into a 501c6 nonprofit trade association, first person that we reached out to was Sarah, and she has been worth her weight in gold, let me tell you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And
Absolutely. Thanks for being part of the team. We, like you said, you were the first and only thought that came in our mind, so we're glad you're here.
Glad to be here. Absolutely.
Sarah was available to come and join us because she was formerly with the FCICA. You guys did a fantastic job there with Kim Oderkirk and getting it going, but they decided to go a different direction with their management firm. So she was available, and thankfully for us, she said yes.
Well, I've always enjoyed working with you guys through FCICA with my time there, and got to meet a lot of different people in the flooring industry as well. So it was always fun.
Yeah, I think you met somebody special at the FCICA. That last name of yours, Fike, that's kind of familiar.
Yes. I did meet my husband there, yeah.
Her husband's Brent Fike, if you guys don't know, is a GM over at Ropey Holding Company, GM of Technical Services. Just a stand-up great guy. So
Absolutely.
I'm pandering. I'm sure he's just off shot right there to your right, so that's why I'm pandering to him.
and to understand that Sarah's so good at what she does that we asked her to join us in spite of that. Nah, I kid, of course.
Nice.
So we made some announcements today.
Just one.
One or two. If anybody's been on social media today, they've seen a little bit of a blitz about NAFCT, the new NAFCT, National Association of Floor Covering Technicians, which I'm looking at it on my screen right here. It's a phenomenal page that Sarah put together. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
We
You know what? We do have to say that, for us to be an association, especially being a nonprofit 501c6, we've had to put together a board of directors, which we're going to introduce here on upcoming podcasts. But one of the board members is Tracy Muller, who used to be with QEP Roberts. And she is just a marketing whiz. Between her and Sarah, they put all this together, and I just want to make sure she gets a shout out for that. But the two of them, Paul and I, there's no way Paul and I could have put anything remotely close to this together. So it looks phenomenal. So.
Let's just go through that real quick, because it's some of the people that we really we knew from our experience how much they cared about the industry, how active they've been in the industry. And so let's just go through that real quick. I've got my list of the directors up here. Brett Fike, of course. Brett Fike is there. He's been a close friend of the academy coming into this, and now, of course, the association. So Brett Fike's on the board.
Yep.
Don Jewell, another
Don Jewell, Mr. Jewell, director of technical for Lobavaco, and almost cut his leg off with a chainsaw last night. I forgot to share pictures of that one.
Did he actually cut himself?
Yeah. It turns out it was only superficial, but he was cutting down a tree and was standing in bushes, and he tripped in the bushes, and the chainsaw was still going, and luckily his pants kind of got wrapped up in it, and it's more of a superficial wound, but he looked at first.
Wow, speedy recovery, Don, you clumsy son of a gun.
Yeah, it's my chainsaw too. Now I got blood all over my chainsaw. Got me a new one.
have to disinfect that for COVID or something, just in case. Jason Spangler, Wagner Meters.
That's another great guy. I'm sure everybody out here listening knows Jason Spangler. Great guy.
We've got Kevin Phillips, Director of Technical Services, Novalis.
Yep. Novalis Floors.
What you're going to note with a lot of these board members, it's the technical guys, right? Technical guys, I say guys, but we have a lot of people involved here. Mike Pidgeon.
Yep.
Formerly at
Ropey Holding Company. Now he's back to being a project manager for a contractor on the West Coast. Again, to follow up on what Paul said, we didn't go to the salespeople. We didn't go to the marketing departments. We went to the technical and training side of all these manufacturers. And, so we wanted to make sure that we got the people who are getting in front of the installers and training the installers are the ones involved, because that's why we're doing it. We're doing this for installers.
Speaking of, Sam Biondo.
Sam Biondo, national trainer from Mapei. Just a freaking spark plug of energy. You can't, I don't know, I've never seen him in a bad mood. You just can't smile when you see him. So I love the guy.
I enjoyed that podcast because I didn't have to do anything.
No, we said, what's your name? And 60 minutes later, he stopped talking. So we're like, hey, that's a good podcast.
Perfect. Another guy that's been so helpful with NAFCT in the past, Seth Pavarnik, Ardex.
Seth Pavarnik. So there's one more person on here that the four core that started it. Grant Rumsey. He's an officer of the company. So there's four of us. So, but we call Seth. He's the fifth Beatle. That's what I call him. He's the one behind the scenes. Without Seth and without Ardex support, NAFCT would not be what it is today. We wouldn't be making these announcements. So I really appreciate that, Ardex and Seth. And just think of him today and prayers for him. He's got some family stuff going on, and we want to make sure everything goes good for him today. Love that guy.
Tracy Muller, you talked a little bit about that, but she's working with us in marketing, had a big hand in that press release and getting our thoughts into a understandable.
Tracy's awesome at organizing thoughts.
Bob Blockinger is working with us in other areas as well.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Bob Blockinger is working with us in other areas as well.
Mm-hmm. Bob Blockinger. Inspector down in Florida.
He's also the president currently of the National Institute of Certified Floor Coverings Inspectors, and he just got voted to the board of the ICRC.
Very nice. Congratulations.
I'm supposed to say that. And we've got Grant Rumsey, of course. He's our money guy. He's an accountant.
He's our CFO. He's the one that makes everything work. So, important part.
He's going to help us keep track. I saved two for last because it's pretty special to us that they decided to join us. First one's Alex Wiedenhoff, research botanist and team leader, USDA Forest Products Lab, Center for Wood Anatomy Research. Alex helped us present the Wood Inspectors course we did in Madison a couple of years ago now. Government guy, wood geek genius. I mean,
Absolute genius.
And really the areas that he's contributing is it adds a completely different perspective to the board.
Absolutely.
We've got
The way I introduce him to most people is I say, you ever watch those forensic files or shows like that where they have to do forensic testing on wood? Usually they send it to Alex. So he's got some interesting pieces of wood up there in Madison that, what was it? The 7-year tree. What did he call that? 7-year tree. When it was like 3, 4, or 5, maybe it was 7. I don't know. But years ago, somebody had burned a body next to a tree. He was able to dissect the tree and say that the fire burned for X amount of time during this time. It was just phenomenal what he was able to do. So
yeah, he just called that the murder tree.
Murder tree. That's what it was. The murder tree. So, cool stuff.
And finally, we've got Frank Owens, Assistant Professor, Department of Sustainable Bioproducts, College of Forest Resources, Mississippi State University.
Yes.
Frank has we're going to be taking Frank's Wood ID course here in the next coming weeks, which we would like to we'll pass that along, more information on that later. But Frank is another wood guy, and stay tuned. I think we've got a third wood expert that we're adding to the board, but
yes.
We can't go into that yet.
No, can't mention that yet, but we do think we'll have a third PhD on the board. So we're really excited about that. As you can see, wood's going to be a big focus of what we want to do, and not just the basics of wood. We're going to go into wood science. So,
but that wood part of it affects subfloors. You know, in my area, pretty much exclusively have basements, so the wood affects the structure, the wood affects the subfloors, and of course the wood flooring that goes in. So there's a lot of area that we're going to cover in that part of the industry.
Yep.
So that's our board of directors. We thank them all very much, and we're honored that they agreed to join us in this venture.
Well,
you get an idea.
Anybody who kept track of that list knows that's kind of the who's who in technical. I mean, we've all been friends for years, and we understand the struggles of what's out there with training and the lack of training and why people don't go to training, and that's why we picked this group of people. So we're excited. We're really excited. Appreciative to have everyone on the board.
Absolutely.
No, it's
Absolutely.
a good group.
I think we talked a lot about, and we'll talk a lot about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and who's involved in it. I think the most important subject we want to cover today on the podcast is why we're doing it. Right? We talked about this before. You know, we've got other organizations working their butts off trying to get education out there, trying to get people certified, and why did we decide to go in this direction, and what's our goal in accomplishing this? You want to start out on that, Sonny?
Sure. I'll start with that. So, as most of you know, I'm a manufacturer first. So we manufacture adhesives, and that's the side of the business I've been on for 15, 18 years. And that's how we know all these other manufacturing partners that are on the board. So 3 different trade associations, ASTM, FCICA. We see each other, you know, on a regular year, non-COVID year, 10 times a year easily. Mm-hmm. And so we just decided that, you know, we needed to be able to offer affordable training and certification that the installers can actually go to, and they're going to want to go to. Because if you start talking about a training, and we did this with our school, we would host something in Atlanta or Madison, Wisconsin, or, you know, wherever it might be. We did some in Texas. So to get people there, the installers flying to the job, flying to our class, which is, you know, $700, $800, staying in a hotel for a week, which is $500 or $600, renting a car, meals, missing work, which is a couple $2,000 to $3,000 if you're having a good week. So you're talking about $5,000 or $6,000 that folks are going to have to come out of their pocket to attend training, and then they have this training and it says manufacturer certification or manufacturer's training, or it says, you know, just a basic training, and it's not something they can take back and market for themselves as, look, I took this class, I'm a better installer because of it. And that was one of the things that we really wanted to focus on. Not only do we want to help bring new installers into this industry, because that's a huge part of why we're doing this, but we also want to better the installers that are out there, you know. And some of these guys, you know, we're not retraining you. We're not trying to say, oh, the way you're doing it is wrong. We're going to try to do something better and redo it. Come to these classes, you're going to pick up a trick from a Daniel Ortiz or a Mike Pidgeon, and you're going to learn that one thing. And you're going to hear us talking about that one thing a lot. What's the one thing you learned from our class? What's the one thing you learned about subfloor prep? What's the one thing you learned about resilient installation? And you can take that back, and it's gonna make you a better installer. But the hook to all of this is, how are we going to do that? And I'm kind of jumping ahead, but it kind of falls into why but we're getting the manufacturers involved. We want the manufacturers to say, hey, look, if you want to install our floors, you have to be NAFCT certified, right? And the only way to do that is have a large base of NAFCT certified installers. If we go through and we have 5,000 installers, a company like Shaw can't require an NAFCT installer, certified installer. There's just no way they can do it. We have 40,000, we have 50,000, then we can start looking at things like that. And that's how we want to run these programs through the manufacturers that offer these certifications. And we're looking at getting these large numbers because it's going to be at little to no cost for the installer.
I think you're making the point. You are jumping ahead on us a little bit, but I guess it all does go together. You can't really talk about the why without the how to some extent. And really what we're doing is taking an existing infrastructure of training and education and adding an accountability to it and a uniformity to it. So what you're going to see is you're going to see companies like, please help me with the ones I forget, Ardex, Mapei, Shonox, Uzine, Latacrete, Lobovaco, who are all going to be able to offer the same required information in their class that will then qualify that attendee to come to NAFCT, take an exam, and get certified. So the infrastructure that already exists.
I just want to give you some more. Polar,
Yes.
Novalis, Ropey, Divergent, and a Mrs.
Absolutely.
So just wanted to make sure everybody gets a plug.
Thank you very much for that. But what we're coming out with is the subfloor prep, moisture mitigation type programs right away. But we're going to be able to take those companies that were already doing it. They were already offering excellent educational opportunities. They were already offering them for little or no cost. They were already helping supplement for accommodations and travel when people get to the class to different levels, to varying degrees. But what they never were able to offer was a certification. And for those companies we went to those companies and said, listen, this is what we want to do. They were on board almost immediately. It was mind-boggling to me that, wait a minute, no, I got more sales pitch here. No, we're in. I don't know what else to say here. Because they recognize the fact that in order to, they can't offer certification that you can grow from. They can offer a certification. They could come out and they could say, all right, you're manufacturer certified for our products. But where do you go from there? Where do you expand it from there? How do you get certified then for other things? Are you just going to have a slew of manufacturer certifications, which are excellent education, right? I describe them as technical education with a sales aspect. They're not a sales presentation with a little bit of technical. They are technical programs that they're putting on. And so not only now can you go to those classes, get certified, but then you can go and look for other certifications, whether you want to be certified in resilient flooring. We're going to expand out into different aspects of the industry with inspections and maintenance and even retail. We're going to have business programs for independent business people that are members, installers that want to be entrepreneurs and expand their business. We are going to have a full palette of education available, and it's all coming from an existing infrastructure. It's all coming from something that's already there that is low cost all over the country and held all the time.
Yeah, we couple of the partners that you mentioned, and I won't say their names, but a couple of those partners are putting through in excess. This is pre-COVID. This is 2019 numbers. They were putting through over 9,000 students per year. Now, if we can get that to go through, and they can provide the NAFCT certification to go along with that, that's how we get our numbers. So, and what's advantageous for the manufacturer is we've all been to these presentations at conventions and at other industry events where the manufacturer's up there talking, and he's like, well, if you need to prep the floor, use a patching compound, and he just wants to say his number, or you use a self-leveling, and you can see he starts to say the number. Well, with these programs, those partners that we mentioned before, they can specifically relate how their products work with our curriculum. So when we're talking about ASTM F710 as a standard of 3/16 and 10 feet, they say use XYZ product, and they can name it. You can touch it, you can use it. So the installer not only gets the book smart version of it, but he also gets the hands-on version of it. So it's a win-win for everybody.
But the exam and the uniformity or the consistency of the program is all going to be drawn from industry standard, right? That's the part that has to be taught within the class. Then those manufacturers can go, they can expand on that in any way that they see fit.
Good point, yeah.
But the required part of the curriculum, which they're already teaching again,
Right.
is the industry standard, the ASTMs, the ANSIs, the, on the wood side, the Forest Products Lab, hardwood manual, right? All these things are available that are accepted as an industry standard. That's where the exam is going to come from. We're going to talk a lot about in exams about where to find the right answers, because we know those answers change all the time. Standards are updated. Manufacturers change things. So the exam is going to really show that you have a knowledge enough to know where to find the right answers, as opposed to just memorization of,
Right, and that's a great point, Paul, because that stuff does change. I mean, it can change monthly. So what we're going to be focusing on is, where do you get that answer? One of the big things that I say whenever I meet with flooring contractors, and we talk about tools in your toolbox, 3 of the biggest tools I tell every person to have in their toolbox is ASTM 710, ASTM F1869, and ASTM F2170. 2 moisture tests and the subfloor concrete prep standard, how to prepare concrete to receive resilient flooring standard. So, I mean, it's not just the tools that you use with your hand, it's the tools that you use with your mind, and we're going to show you where to get those and how to use them to make your job better. We're involved in too many groups, both online and offline, that we see horrible advice given to people. Just horrible. And the rationale behind it is, that's the way I've always done it. Well, that's not an answer. That's not a correct answer. Sometimes when people tell me that, when I'm looking at a large complaint, and they go, that's the way I've always done it. Done it for 30 years. And sometimes I'll tell them, go buy a lottery ticket, because you are the luckiest SOB I've ever met in my life. That's the way you've been doing it. So
now, Sarah, if you'll let me get a word in here edgewise there. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. No, I mean, I think it's great that NAFCT is really taking the resources that are already there, and the education that's there, and is bringing it out to everybody and kind of structuring it so that you can get certified under it, and just really adds some credibility to what these flooring installers are doing and what they're learning, and I think that's important. That as an industry, it's been said many times that, the flooring installer isn't looked at as a super professional or, so
skilled
this
trade.
really adds, yeah,
Right.
this really adds credibility to what they're doing every day.
No,
That-
I agree. I agree, and for the life of me, I don't understand how someone who sees flooring go in, and when it's done, it's beautiful. They don't treat that person with respect. It just drives me crazy. We're asked to clean paint off floors. If we got glue on a wall, the painter would have a fit, right? I mean, and those are the things that we're working on as NAFCT. So as second and third tier programs within AFCT, we're getting the word out to consumers. We're going to get the word out to GCs. We're going to get the word out to that dang DIY channel and have them straighten out what they're doing, because they're giving out bad information. It drives me crazy, right? No, not everybody can put wood floors in a house. Some people can, but if you want to do it right, I mean, when's the last time you saw a DIY channel talk about a moisture test for wood, or talk about the moisture content of wood? I mean, it's crazy to show people that, oh, this is how easy it is. If you want to do it wrong, it just takes the 30-minute segment. Let's get involved at that level. And that's going to include retail. That's going to include the box stores. That's going to include, those independent chains across the country that sell wood. It's going to be everybody. Everybody's going to be involved.
Well, and we talked a lot setting this up about our involvement in standards and the things that we've learned being involved in standards. And we've talked about advocacy within the industry for installers on standards, getting installers more involved in that, both so that they can understand them better, the reasoning behind the rules of the industry, but also so that they can have part of the discussion about expectations of installers. And that's going to be another area that we really try to work into to further that conversation, right? There's absolutely areas that are commonly criticized in standards and how installers are affected by it. We're going to try to get more installers in on those conversations. I'm not saying we're going to be able to change anything, but we're definitely going to make sure that their voice is represented in those areas that currently are really dominated by manufacturers, because they've got technical guys that go and really understand those topics and
they have travel budgets. I mean, let's cut to the chase. I mean, that's what it is. So when we have advocacy for these installers, I foresee us having someone who's, we have a committee chair for ASTM standards, and that person will go. That installer will go, and we'll pay for that. That'll be part of what we're doing. I think of Jason Spangler. He gave me a hard time. He's like, you're trying to be everything to everybody. I was like, well, yeah, that's how I do things. I'm not going to be inclusive to just one area. We're going to do it. We're going to do it right. And
trying to be everything to everybody. Well, thank you.
That's right. And we've set some lofty goals, and Paul and Sarah and the rest of the board look at what I put down, and they kind of give it the Scooby-Doo, but I think we can do it. If I didn't think we could, I wouldn't put it on paper. So I'm excited about it. Obviously, we've got the attention of some people, because social media is just going crazy today. Today is October 6th, and we're going to release this tonight, but you're going to see this all over social media: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. What I missed? Constant Contact. We send things out.
Yeah.
Go to those pages, sign up. We'll keep you informed. There's an email address. You just insert your email address, and we'll send you the information on what we're going to do. Because the exciting part about this is we're this excited, and we're not even taking members till January 1st, the 1/1/21. So we've got all this back office stuff that we're getting ready to go. We've got the board, we've got some committees forming, but it's 1/1/21. We're going to hit the ground running, and we're going to start having members, and we're going to start seeing things, and so we want to keep you up to date over the next 90 days, and so you know what to do. So,
well, I think that goes back to being a new organization. We're implementing things and writing policy every time we get together. If there's ideas out there, get in touch with us. Volunteer for a committee, suggest a committee. Bring up some ideas on how we can do some things that you think will help this industry.
yeah,
This isn't just about us.
Yeah, I was just going to say, make sure you go onto the website, NAFCT.com, and check out the association, and that's where you can sign up to get all of our news through Constant Contact.
yeah. So you'll see the NAFCT.com website is different than it was a week ago. And Sarah just put this together in a matter of a couple of days, while our regular website will be up and going, which probably closer to the 1/1/21 date. But this website is going to be
a lot closer to the 1/1/21 date.
Yeah, but the website's going to be for our members, for our installers, for our inspector members. You can use that as your website to advertise. Once you're certified, you'll have your own page on there. You can show your badges that you get. I got this certification. I got this certification. And when someone in that area is someone's looking in Atlanta, Georgia, they need a resilient installer, they can go to our webpage and they can look, I got 5 guys who are all resilient. They all have resilient badges, and let's pick which one we want to use. So the website's is by far the biggest expense that we're having right now. We want to make it to where the installers and our members and associate members and educational partners and everybody can use it and get benefit out of it. So, well, we're really excited about it. But to back up to what Paul was saying, if you do see a need in our industry, something that you want to see training on, just let us know. Shoot us an email. Paul at NAFCT, Sonny at NAFCT, Sarah at NAFCT, and we will certainly talk to you about it, because your feet out on the street, you're going to see things differently than we do.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about one of the biggest topics we got into. I think you mentioned a little, Sonny, and that's career path. I think what we're laying out here is going to be a roadmap to many different career destinations. And I think that is part of when we're saying when somebody says we're trying to be everything to everybody, we're trying to connect the industry so that if you're in one segment of the industry and you start getting interested in a different segment, or if you want to expand your business, say you're an installer and you want to expand into retail, or you want to expand into maintenance, we're going to be able to get you involved in that part of the industry. And beyond just being in business for yourself, we're going to be able to take you into the highest or most technical levels of the industry, right through the education that we're going to offer. Whether you go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things that I'm asked all the time by manufacturers of underlayments, adhesives, moisture mitigation systems, flooring, hey, you know a good technical guy? I need a guy. And typically the installer makes the best technical representative. I can't think of a better example. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the installer. So if we have a base of 10,000 installers and you decide you want to look for a job and you want to get off your knees and become a technical rep for a company, this is the group that's going to put you together with those types of people, right? So that's the networking that will be here at NAFCT as well.
And we talked a little bit about the fact that this is going to help manufacturers to expand their training offering, because we're driving attendance for furthering certification. Well, manufacturers are going to need trainers. They're going to need people to teach how to do this. We're going to have opportunities where even if you, as a flooring professional, have a very specific skill set and you want to develop a certification or a badge for training, that we're going to be able to set that up as a committee, design an exam for it, and individuals can provide that education as well. It's not limited to manufacturers, but we're depending on the manufacturers that already offer the training for the quantity that they're going to be able to reach a lot of people. Now, each one of those individuals that get certified through there are gonna find some niches in the industry, some little areas that they really want to get into, and we're going to have some education that's going to be able to help them. You know, I don't know if it's floor repairs or if it's we talked a little bit about some specialty installations, specialty product installations, things like that. We're going to have available education because we're just focusing really on the certification part of it. The professionals in the industry that already have these skills, already have this ability, those are the people that are going to actually be offering the education. So the career path that's going to be available really is going to go beyond what we even understand as career path in flooring today.
No, I agree. And to backtrack a little bit, I just want to say, you know, being the new people coming out, the new association coming out, we realize we can't do this by ourselves, right? There's no way we can train everyone and get everyone up to standards. There's other associations out there that train, and we'll support them 100%, is right in our mission statement. We want to support the other associations. If somebody has the best program of training of ceramic tile, let's just use that for an example, that's what we're going to go to. That's who we're going to work with. That's who we're going to reference. Same with moisture testing. You know, we're going to work with the ICRI and their moisture testing technicians. They can't do it by themselves. We can't do it by ourselves. It takes us all working together. And I really mean that wholeheartedly. Anybody who knows me knows that I've been preaching that to our team from day one. We're going to do this together or we're going to fail.
We didn't work with all those associations. Sonny, myself, Sarah, we've been working with associations for years and years. We've been on committees, we've sat on boards, we've worked to try to make those better, to expand them, to get more people certified through those organizations. That doesn't go by the wayside. That doesn't, we don't throw that away because we're trying to do this. Anything we can do to make those organizations stronger is going to be part of our mission. There's no question.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Well,
We're going to continue. Go ahead, sir.
It's improving the industry. I mean, there can't be too many people out there helping the industry, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we mean that sincerely. So we've had some people call and question what we're doing, you know, kind of, you know, give me the rough neck, make sure I'm not trying to run somebody out of business. And I, you know, and as soon as we talk them off the ledge, everything's fine. And they're, hey, whatever we can do to support you, and that is always the answer that we get, because what we're trying to do is truly gonna change the way training is done in this industry, right? It's gonna change the way installations are done, and we're just super excited about it.
Well, some of the more flooring specific organizations in the industry, by their nature, are going to be able to take a deeper dive into those floor coverings than we are, right? Just by that's the fact that that's what they're focused on. And so I think a partnership there where we're introducing like a more, you know, general installation or maintenance or inspection to that industry, and then they're going to move on and get other certifications that are specific to the industries that they're most interested in. And I think that's where we're really going to see the drive to cooperate and the drive to help those other organizations moving forward.
I agree.
So we've got the how. We've really got the why. I think we've talked about that the whole time. I don't think we want to quite cover yet some of the initiatives we've got going. We have some discussions with some different groups that's going to try to broaden the industry, right? Nothing settled yet, so you're going to see some announcements over the coming weeks of different groups that we're going to work with to try to expand the industry for the ladies that are out there and professionals in the industry.
Young people, absolutely. We're going to have, this is a complicated thing for me to try to talk about. It's a complicated time in the world, but we'll have a diversity statement that will be coming out in the next couple weeks, because this is an organization that is for everybody. There is no question that we want every single person to know that they've got a place in the NAFCT. Absolutely.
So it's just, we hit a point where it's hard. You don't want to say the wrong thing. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. But
I mean, we talk about that. We touched on the why a little bit. I just want to go back to the why some. You know me. I'm hammer on that part. But the one thing I want to make clear is, not only is this geared towards, we could go back and forth on the installation shortage. Okay, are there some pockets of the United States where there's a shortage? Absolutely. Is it widespread? That's debatable. So, but what we absolutely want to do is bring fresh, new, young people into the flooring industry. You know what? They may not start out in installation. They may go right into sales. They may go right into operations. They may go into maintenance, something completely different. We just want to show them that there's a career path for them when they get here, that they can do whatever they want. But we also want to train the people who are out there right now. The people who are installing floors every single day can learn something and can benefit from these classes. All right. So we did talk, we mentioned the first class is going to be the substrate class. That's what started this whole thing for NAFCT. And that's what we're starting with, because just like anything that you're doing on the job site, if the substrate and foundation is not correct, it doesn't matter what you put on top of it. And that's what we're building NAFCT on. We're building it on the substrate, and that's going to be the substrate class. You heard the founding members we talked about. We've got substrates covered. We've got the best of the best. There's not a single person that we haven't talked to that I can think, man, I wish we had him or her for a substrate professional. We've talked to them all. We've got them, and we're going to put this together and have it ready to, COVID allowing, in January, start having these classes. But again, the other installation trainings that we're going to be doing, we're not going to reinvent the wheels. We're not. We're going to show you ways to make your life easier. We're going to show you ways that can save you time. And you save time, you save money. We're also going to have business courses. We talked about this last week, and it's a pet peeve of mine. I talk about it all the time. Is there's two things that I hate seeing on a job site or in our industry. One is somebody who has just fantastic hand skills, which, by the way, I don't have. I was a mediocre installer at best. Mediocre. But you know what? I always got the hardest and best paying jobs because I showed up. I was respectably dressed. I was respectful to the customer, and I did a good job when it was done. Did it take me longer than everybody else? Absolutely. Right. So when I see someone who has fantastic hand skills and they have to leave the industry because they didn't know how to pay their taxes, that's a loss for our industry. Right. We as an industry deserve to show them how to do that. We're going to have tax classes. We're going to have bookkeeping classes.
Most of these are going to be online. You can take them when you can, and they're going to be for our members who join. And by the way, our membership, $100 a year for installers, right? Something like that. We're trying to make this as easy as we can to make it accessible for the installers. The second thing that drives me crazy is when I go to a contractor and we're doing training and there's a person there in their late 60s installing every single day because they haven't saved 14 cents their whole life. They weren't good with money. They didn't know how to manage their money. It goes back to what we were just talking about. But we can show you. You can create your own 401k. You can put money aside. You know, there's ways to save money and retire just like you were in an hourly job with a manufacturer or just a regular company. There's ways to do it. It saddens me when I have to see that, knowing that that person has to work until the day they can't work anymore or the day they die. That bothers me, and until we get it fixed, I'm not going to stop pushing for that.
Absolutely. That business part of it, that was something we talked about with Daniel last week, and the marketing side of it, right? The business side, how to run a business, how to stay out of trouble. The marketing side. There's a lot of installers out there now that are able to market themselves locally with social media, with local groups, construction groups, or home improvement groups. We're going to bring in the right people to tell you how you can go about that in your area. How can you expand that in your area? How can you make a name for yourself online? And there's so many tools now to be able to do that, to reach so many people. So
yeah, image is very important. A lot of people make a decision on what they see, not what they read or hear. So
yeah,
absolutely.
And there's a lot of people that aren't the lowest bidder. They're making a great living.
I'm a homeless guy walking in to do flooring.
They're making a great living. They're working smarter, not harder. They're still working their butts off. Don't get me wrong, but they're and we're gonna find ways to get those skills in a teachable, learnable manner through the organization.
The technology in floor covering is moving faster than anybody in the industry is realizing. I mean, look at ceramic tile, the waterproofing systems that they have for showers. There's a couple of brands out there that if you look at the parts and the pieces and the supplies, it's much higher than putting up Durox, sealing it, and then putting something on top of it. But you save a day and a half of labor by using the preformed pieces. So what's your labor really worth? If you can move on to the next installation, that's the kind of math that a lot of installers don't pick up on. They think, oh, it costs me more in supplies, so it costs me more money. No, there's all kind of tricks out there and products, not tricks, but better products out there to save you time and money on the job site, which we all know when you're an installer, time is money. So
every business.
absolutely.
if you can get to the next job and start another one, you're making more money. If you get there faster. So there's a lot of things that we want to share, and we look forward to hearing from everybody of what they think we should share, what they want us to share, and we're happy to do it. So we're recording this at 12:30. I know you're not supposed to do this when you're recording, but we launched this at 10 o'clock, and we're already getting great emails, great responses, great comments, likes, shares. People are like, oh, this is what we needed. How are you going to address this? And we're answering it. Well, what about this? Can I be involved? Absolutely, you can be involved. So we're getting the traction. We're getting the key people. We're getting everyone that we just want to talk to everyone that we can and get their feedback, because the more people that give us feedback, the better the association's going to be overall.
And go ahead, sir.
No, I was, total agreement. I mean, your opinions matter, and that's how you make things better, is when we all listen to what's needed.
Yep.
And even discussing it, that we've laid out our vision for the organization, But we've also shown that the vision is flexible. You know, is everything that we talked about today going to come together exactly the way that we've discussed it? No, there's going to be changes. There's going to be ways that people come in and make our ideas even better with their ideas. And that's what we're looking forward to. I think we've got a great starting.
Input, the broader the input, the better the association is going to be, for sure.
So what can we do now? Right now, anybody that's listening, anybody that's looking into it, we're going to be looking for a lot of volunteers. We're going to have committees that we're putting together. Contact us. Let us know that you want to be involved. Let us know your areas of interest. Let us know, you know, what ideas you would like to work to create initiatives in the industry, the different things that we can do to move this industry forward and give it the raise the level of respect for the industry that it deserves. Right. So contact us about it. We will be starting membership, as we said, 1/1/21. The website will be up. You'll be able to join. Leading up to that, the plan is to have classes scheduled for the first quarter of 2021, and you'll be able to sign up and then come and take exams from us and become certified. On the website, I think this is important for members, that on the website, every member that joins is going to get a profile page that they'll be able to use in their own marketing, on their business cards, where it will list their certifications from NAFCT. They'll have a section where they can list certifications from other organizations. They will have a profile section where they can explain their business, explain themselves, whichever they prefer. And there will be a section where they can add, jury's still out on how many, but say 6 to 10 pictures of their work, so that they can, so if somebody comes on the site, looks for an installer, they know what they're certified in, who they're certified with, what their business is all about, and they've got examples of their work there. That's all included in membership. So come on, you'll be able to sign up for that. Our deadline is 1/1/21, right? Might be out a little earlier than that. We'll just have to see. We know how websites go. Sonny's going, no. Yeah, he's probably right.
We're going to be cutting it close for 1/1/21, but there's a lot to it. And if we have to wait a week, it's going to be worth it. Paul, you put a lot of thought and effort into this, and the way he's explaining it is completely underwhelming. You're going to be blown away when you see what tools and resources and marketing tools and resources you will have on this website, how you can market yourself to your customer and use the certification to your advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then once we get closer to, we can start posting on social media. We'll probably have posts. We're starting this committee. Who wants to be on this type of committee? Once we run it through the board on which certifications we're going to do next, we'll start posting those things on social media so you can volunteer for your expertise. But there are going to be a lot of committee seats that need to be filled, and we're going to be looking for a lot of help. You know, just know that when Paul and I say we're doing NAFCT for you, we're doing NAFCT for you. Okay, I promise you. We took a for-profit business and turned it into a nonprofit, right? That's how strongly we felt. And that had a lot to do with the fifth Beatle. You know, that was Seth Pavarnik. We wanted to make sure that Seth and I and Paul could keep teaching these substrate classes. Paul had this phenomenal idea of how we can do it and lower the cost of virtually nothing to installers. And we said, we can't pass this up. So we're going to offer these accessible, affordable, multiple times in your area, close to your area, multiple times a month. You know, we're going to make this just as easy as possible. We have manufacturing partners in the Southeast, in the Mid-Atlantic, in the Northeast, in Texas, in California, in the Midwest, in the Northwest. all across the United States are going to be holding these classes. There's going to be one near you. So just keep looking for the hashtag NAFCT for you.
Sarah, why don't you go through where they can all reach us as far as social media, emails, and then we will wrap this thing up.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, the website's nafct.com. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and the handle is at NAFCT4U for all three of those. And you can reach us on email, info@nafct.com, or paul@nafct.com, or sonny@nafct.com, or sarah@nafct.com as well.
But definitely go to one of those sites on any of those and go to our website, and it'll link you to our website. Sign up for our constant contact emailers that we're going to send out. That way we can keep you informed on what's coming up. We'll have questionnaires, we'll have articles, we'll have updates, we'll have just about everything on there. And we won't hit you with advertisements or things like that. We're just going to let you know what's going on with the association. And we'll be talking about our founding members. We've got those 11 companies, and we've got a couple more who want to get involved, who knew that they can't be a member till 2021, but they wanted to financially support NAFCT through 2020, quarter 4 2020. And I just, we're going to make a big deal about those 11 people, because without them, we wouldn't be here right now. So I really do appreciate all the manufacturers who have helped us.
We absolutely do. And as Sonny said, we are still accepting founding members. That's only going to go through the end of the year. So, and founding members are going to get some benefits. Reach out to us and let us know, but they're forever going to be known as founding members. And God willing, this thing is still around and functioning 100 years from now when we're long gone. Those companies will be recognized as making a difference in the industry.
Sure. And we are absolutely looking to have a convention/training event in March or April of next year. Obviously, we're under the same restrictions as everyone else for COVID. So as soon as we get the okay and we get the approval, we'll start looking at some dates. But right now, we just don't feel safe booking it right now. So we'll make sure that we get the clearance, and then we'll get something going for you.
He's playing us out.
He's playing us off. It's time to shut up, Sarah. That's what he said.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for your support, everybody. We'll have more coming up. We got some podcasts planned out with different guests that are from the board and founders. Until next time, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. And NAFCT for you.
We parked the car behind the barn, feeling our way through the dark. By the creek in the shimmering light, she tastes so